When I came to the mission, I had no hope. I didn't even want to live. I had hit rock bottom. I was deeper in my addiction than I had ever been. I've been using drugs since I was 11 years old, and I actually been to the mission once before and achieved sobriety and a relationship with Christ. And that was about 7 years ago. And I went back out. I maintained sobriety for about 2 years that time, and I went back out. And what led me to my downward spiral was when I was pregnant and I lost my daughter. I lost her at 5.5 months, and that was really difficult, and I turned back to what I knew. Turned back to the dope, and I lost control, and it became a part of life, became overwhelming, and made me lose hope and lose the desire to live. So it wasn't until Miss Becky suggested that I come back home that I thought that, wait, I could do this. I could still live. And then I made my way back and did the program again, leaning on God instead of just running to the drug, and actually dealing with it and talking to counselors and, you know, writing it out and working it out and thinking it out, and just the classes that we take, you know, the classes that we do with Trinity help. The mindfulness helps with just our daily, you know, our daily walk, daily struggles that come that make us want to revert back to that old, you know, going and using. The mindfulness classes I know have helped me a lot this time. A new person has no fears, no guilts, no doubts, worries, shame. He loves me unconditionally.
Before I came here, I was on the verge of being homeless. I did meth and I drank, and my family, they didn't want me around. They wanted to help me, but they didn't know how, and I think that they probably kind of gave up on me a little bit. Before I came here, my mom, she didn't, I don't know, she wasn't really in my life. Like, we didn't talk, we didn't communicate, and whenever we did, it was never very nice. And I know that it was just her way of protecting herself, because all I did was hurt her and let her down, and she tried to help me and tell me the things that I should do, and I didn't want to listen to her. And in doing like all that stuff, you know, we just grew apart. And since I've been here, like, I've restored that relationship with my mom. Like, obviously it's changed my life, but it's been wonderful. God opens up doors. Like, he reached down and picked me up, and he saved me even whenever, like, I refused to believe in him. I ignored him. I just acted like he wasn't even there, and he still cared. I was a very broken person. I was a waste of a person, to be quite honest. Like, I had no thoughts, I had no feelings, emotions, anything that I did feel, it was all negative and bad, and I just felt like I was just a waste of, you know, a human being. Like, there was no point of me being alive. Like, my family wasn't happy with me. I was in a bad relationship, and, you know, we both were on drugs, so it wasn't very good for either one of us. But going to jail made me realize, like, I needed to do something. Like, it snapped me out of all the bad choices I was making, and it made me want to do better. And since being here, I feel like so comfortable with myself. Like, I love myself. I am happy to be, like, I'm happy to be where I'm at. I'm happy to be sober. Like, I didn't know I could enjoy my life being sober. I didn't know that I could like the person that I am. I didn't know that other people could like me. I had no friends before I came here, and now I'm friends with so many strong, beautiful women. It's amazing the things that can happen with God in your life.
It all really started for me when I got married. Very quickly. We only knew each other for about a month.
How old were you?
I was 23 at the time, and just completed my nursing program. Met her through a nursing facility that I worked at, and 5 months into the marriage, found out that she was what they call a closet tweaker. You know, used meth. Found out from her actually telling me. I said, let's do this then. You know, like not being so naive to the drug itself. Jumped right into it, and instantly, like from the first time, was hooked. Years later, ended up finding myself, you know, really deep into the drugs. Ended up picking up a felony for felony possession, and that was the first time I went into a program, which was here at the Visalia Rescue Mission. Completed the program, completed the court requirements, but still struggled. After a brief relationship with my ex from high school, come to find out that I had a daughter I didn't know about. And when I found out, I was knee deep in drugs again. This whole time that I've been here, this whole year, has been a focus on my anger issues, which that itself has been an eye-opener. Before, it was, my anger was trying to separate myself from that anger, whereas now I'm not hiding from that anger. I'm not trying to avoid the anger, but to deal with it head on and not be so afraid. I was afraid a lot, afraid of, you know, the consequences, which could be life-altering. You know, you know, it could be somebody at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I blow up and I'm in jail. You know, and how's that any good for my kids? But coming to the reality and figuring that out while I've been here, it's an eye-opener. You know what I mean? Like it's not just dealing with anger, but it's finding the root of it. Gives me hope. I mean, God, I feel placed that. I mean, it's not something that I came to the conclusion of. It's one of those things where I feel like He gave me that revelation because He wants me to know myself as well as He does. You know, that I'm very thankful for. You know, and I feel like that's going to carry me a long way. To have that understanding, that peace, is something to help me push forward in life, and to be that example for my kids.
Breaking in people's cars, stealing cop cars. I broke cop cars' windows, went to jail for it. I just became really rebellious. I start following my older brother's footsteps and doing what he does. He takes me around with him. I was doing all this at a young age. I mean, I was really living a chaos life. I came from a broken home. At the age 8, my mom finds this man named Sean. He's a good dad. She ends up in a relationship with this dude. We move in with him, and my dad has this friend, a really close friend that he knew his whole life. He moved in. He lived with us for 8 years. That whole 8 years, he was molesting me. He was drugging me. He was doing all kinds of stuff. And I never, to this day, my parents don't know about this. I'm glad you guys know now. Please forgive me for never telling you, Mom. I love you. This is going to be heartbreaking. I know she's going to die tonight, the night of the video. I know she's going to hurt. Why
are you sharing it now?
It's because I feel, my mom's dying, and I feel she needs to know about the way I was, and what happened to me, and she just needs to know everything before she dies. At age 12, I got into drugs, crystal meth, and started slamming it, and I started doing home evasions with the older cats. They call them OGs from Oildale. I started doing home evasions, involved in murders. I became really corrupt. I didn't have a soul. I started doing liquid KJ, slamming it in my eyeball, like with the needle behind my eye, KJ meth. And it fried my brain. It was like, man, I don't remember the last year and a half before I came in here. I don't remember nothing. I found myself, I remember coming to it, and I was thinking back, like, what was I doing in all these months and all this whole time? I was so disgusted with myself. So I hated myself. So I stole one of my brother's car batteries out of his front yard, and I took it to my mom's room, and I opened the top of it, and I drilled up, and I slammed it, and I tried to kill myself. And I was sick. I was bleeding out my pores. I was awful, man. I was on drugs for 20 years, nonstop. You know, today I got a year clean. First time in 20 years. You know, when I moved in here and I met Jimmy. I love you, Jimmy. I love you with all my heart. He told me a thing that I hold on to every day, and it helps me. This really helps me. He says, there's no shame in a broken man. Just pick up pieces and rebuild. And I hold on to that every day. It's in my head every day, you know, because it was hard for me to forgive myself for the things I've done to people. And it's not about who we used to be, man. It's about who we are now and who we become in the future.
Who are
you? Know, and I'm a man of God. Honestly, after I came in here, I found a lot of peace, a lot of restoration in myself, and hope, dreams. This place changed me a lot. Not just this place, God, most importantly.
So in March 2nd of 2013, I was homeless. I had been homeless for 5 years. I had been shooting dope for a good long time, 18 years. And so I was in Tulare, and I was inside this little box, and it was cold. And so the box only had like 3 sides on it, and I was starving, man. I was like 130 pounds. I hadn't probably bathed in weeks. There was no one left, no road to travel, no doors were open. I remember it being so dark that, you know, you can't see yourself. You don't even remember who you are. Nobody else wants to see you. And even the people that do care about you don't want to see you because they can't stand to see what you've done to yourself and how much pain you've caused. And I went to bed March 2nd of 2013, and my prayer to God was, this is it. I'm done. I can't live like this another day. You know, if I'm going to give you tomorrow, and if you don't reach down to save me, I'm going to take my life. I am. And I was just sick of it. I was sick of being alive. I was sick of breathing. I was sick of being and living that way. I was broken. I was so broken and so alone and so dark. I didn't care. I didn't care. I had lost so much in my life, and I was sick of losing it. And it didn't seem to be any reason to go on. So I woke up on the 3rd of March and started my little trail out. I said, I'm going to give you this day, God. So I went out and I started recycling. And I recycled like $1.50 in these cans. And I knew about the rescue mission, so I was trying to get myself over here. And I came up a quarter short, man, for the bus. And I was sitting there at the bus station, and I was going, man, I could jank this dude. I could get up there, and I could put my little change in there. And in my heart, I was going, that would be a lie, though. If I'm going to have faith in God, I'm going to have faith in God that God's going to deliver me from this. And I knew God could if I just stepped out of the way. I knew He could. And this lady stepped off the bus and asked if anybody needed a bus pass. And I said, absolutely. So I got on the bus, and I showed up over here. And from that point on, God intervened. And He saved my life, stepped in, and it's really kind of weird to talk about this kind of stuff because I consider that guy to be dead. The old me, I consider him to be dead. And I don't really like to talk about it. I like to talk about, that all things have become new. I'm a new creature. Know that God has saved my life and redeemed me from a place so dark that only He could come to and get me out of. And I'm alive in Jesus Christ. I like it. Like Paul said, it's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives within me. Absolutely. And forgetting those things that are behind me. I'd like to leave that guy on the ground, just walk off and leave him. I don't talk about him much. I don't like him. I don't. I like this guy right here. I like this guy right here, this restored life that Christ has given me. I remember sitting over here in the lunch hall, man, being in the safe room whenever I got here, and I was so ashamed to come out because of all the scars that I had on my arm from shooting up. So I was so ashamed to come out there and eat with people. And I heard this really super soft voice say, "Tony, I got scars." He said, "I have scars." He said, "You know what scars mean, Tony? It means you survived something. They're a testament that you've been through something, you've survived." And he said, "I have scars." And I show people my scars, and I say, you know what, if you have scars and you're still here, be proud of them, that God has brought you through, and use those scars as a testament to the power of God to bring you through whatever it is that He's with you. And so I use the scars that I have now, because I know there are people out here who have the same scars that I have. And I can identify with what they're going through. I know what they're going through. And like they say, if He did it for me, He'll do it for you.
The day in the life of using was wake up, use, if I even slept at all, use to function, use to work, use to calm down, use to sleep. So it's just like a constant. You don't even use for the fun of it anymore. You just literally do it to function. The biggest reason I didn't want to stop was because of the kicking. Once you kick heroin, it's kind of like having the flu times 1,000. You literally want to die. And so that was probably the scariest part of it. It's like, I just don't want to go through that again. Done it 100 times. I'm just tired of doing it. So it's almost like you're living in the fear of getting sober, because it hurts more than just staying high all the time. But when you finally take into account that you're actually hurting other people way more than that little bit of pain that you'd have to go through, it just kind of makes it easy to accept that let's just go through a week or two of just the worst feeling you could ever have, versus the whole let's continue living our entire life hurting on a level that I couldn't even understand, because again, you feel like you're hurting yourself only, so that's why you can justify it. You don't actually take time to look at how much you're hurting other people. And that's what, through the mission, I was able to see more. Things like sisters, nieces, nephews, things like that. You don't see how much it hurts them and affects them. Because sure, you get the whole why is Aaron not around, but you can't explain to them that, oh, he's just an addict. It's not that easy. It's like you feel like I'm letting them down on a whole different level. Learning to take things slow. Stop worrying about tomorrow, because it's going to happen no matter what. Focus on the moment at hand and go from there. Things will always sort themselves out. And I feel if I start to overthink things, that's when things start getting out of control. You start stressing, start worrying again, and it's just one thing that leads to another, and it can all go downhill so fast. So just learn to stop and step back and just accept things that are going to happen, deal with them when they come, and go from there.
You feel like you have the tools to deal with things differently now? Or you still?
I feel like I've always known the tools, it's just I never applied them. It's weird to admit this, but I pray all the time now. From driving to when I wake up, just let this day be your day. I don't want to worry about anything. I want you to take control, God. You got this. Just, you drive, I'm riding passenger. So whatever comes, we'll get it together. So it's been a lot easier to just go day by day instead of worrying about what's going to come in the future. How am I going to stay sober? How am I going to not mess things up? I don't care. I got God on my side. So.
Hi, my name is Franklin Jones. I'm 30 years old. This is my second time coming through this program. Hi, my name's Franklin. I'm 27 years old from Riverside, California. I came here in February of 2015 the first time, and I graduated in October of 2015. 10 months after my program, I went back out. I happened to be somewhere one day and I drank, and I did meth that same day. Typically it's progressive whenever people relapse. A lot of times it kind of takes a little bit of time. For me, it didn't. Everything I worked for in that 18 months of sobriety, my first time here, I had lost in one day. I remember looking at myself at 4 o'clock in the morning, spun out of my mind, drunk, just lost, soulless again. And time continued to go on. I stayed out for a year after that, and One day, kind of cliche, but I was sitting behind a liquor store, and God spoke to my heart and told me that I needed to get help. And I got angry at him, and I told him that I didn't need help, that I didn't need to come back here, that there was nothing this place could do for me because I had already been here and I knew everything they were going to teach me. We continued to go back and forth about it, and I ended up listening, and I came back, and I can honestly say that it's the best thing that I did for myself. I did not, looking back on it now, I didn't realize how fast my recovery got put on the back burner. As soon as I graduated, I hightailed it out of here. I didn't continue to go to meetings. I felt like I just needed to work and make money to be able to get somewhere in life, and I was wrong. It ended up costing me more than I wanted to pay, but it happened, and honestly, I'm glad it did. I don't regret it, because if I wouldn't have walked through that, I wouldn't know what I know today, and I wouldn't be in my relationship with Christ where I am today, and I wouldn't be the man I am today, period. It wouldn't have happened for me. I'm closer to God today than I've ever been in my life. Jesus is my best friend, and this place has majorly influenced that. I'm alive in every aspect of life, and that's something that unfortunately a lot of people don't get to experience, and I've been made whole because of what Christ is doing, and I'm a work in progress. Every single day I'm learning something new. Every single day, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't really know much of anything, and I just continue to try to stay humble and learn and grow, and I have a heart to help other people. I want to help other people, because there's a lot of people that need help that are broken, and so many people in the world turn their backs on those people. And it hurts to see that, because I know what that's like. I've been there. Visalia Rescue Mission changed my life. Thank all you guys. Thank you so much for having me here, and for everybody who's inspired me and believed in me. Thank you guys so much, and thank you to my family, all my loved ones, all my brothers, all my sisters. I love all you guys. Keep fighting the good fight, because if God's doing it for me, He'll surely do it for all of you guys.